Cal joins us now. Hey, Cal. Good morning.
Good morning, dynamic duo. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Hey, listen, the scene of President Trump in the Middle East is fascinating to watch, and he's certainly taking a different approach. He's sending a different message to those countries, and he's certainly trying to appeal to their love of commerce and business and money, for that matter, and he might be the right man to deliver that message. Although I have concerns about him not actually being as suspicious as I wish he was for countries like Qatar and the new leadership in Syria. And I'm just wondering from your perspective, Cal, especially the story of this plane and stuff, which, again, I think a lot of it is not really a controversy, except for the fact that Boeing can't deliver a plane anymore.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if we should take any gifts from Qatar considering their role in the Middle East and terrorism.
Larry, you're absolutely right. Qatar has contributed over almost $2 billion to Hamas in Gaza. These people are when I say these people, I'm talking about most of these nations in the Middle East are so rich they don't need to make any investments. They're making money off oil. They made it off oil for years and selling it to the West and to Russia and to everybody else. I think that we are being very, very stupid in dealing with some of these people. Doha, for example, has been investing billions of dollars in U.S. education, from K to 12 to universities to some of the outfits on K Street in Washington. They're buying influence. They're not doing this because they want Donald Trump to succeed or Americans to be better off. They're intellectually and otherwise infiltrating the United States. You're exactly right about this. And with shekels come shackles.
Well, Cal, I wanted to also ask you about this Syrian sort of dropping the sanctions on Syria. The current Syrian government is sanctioning the mass killings of minorities in Syria. And I think in the past, the U.S. has tied the relieving of sanctions to a government demonstrating that it's protecting these minorities, or at the very least, not killing them. Are you concerned about lifting these sanctions when the violence and the killings are still happening?
Well, I am, Julie, and that's a good point. This guy, the new head of the Syrian government, has been described by some as a terrorist in a suit.
Yep.
He's still on the terrorist list at the U.S. State Department. This is great leverage to keep these sanctions on until he demonstrates a change of direction from the previous Assad regime. You don't lift the sanction without getting some kind of concession or demonstration in return. I keep remembering Margaret Thatcher's great line that we in the West make a mistake when we transpose our morality on those who do not share it. The Middle East is a snake pit. It is completely different in its way of thinking from the United States and from other Western nations.
Yeah, and it's just as wrong as the other approach that we took for decades, which was nation building and imposing American Western-style democracy on civilizations that weren't quite ready for it and didn't know how to use it. Cal, if I can make you shift topics real fast, because I've gotten a peek at your column for tomorrow, and it has to do with the president's plan here on prescription drugs. And there's brilliant politics behind it, but I haven't quite seen the details where the devil lies. Have you?
Well, there's a couple of hurdles. First, Congress is going to have to get involved in this. Bernie Sanders has already put out a statement. He and the Democrats, but especially Sanders, have been jawboning this issue for many, many years. And he says, "I'm ready to make a deal with the president. We can get this done in 3 weeks if Congress will come along, the rest of Congress." But look, here's the problem. We all know this. The research and development that is required by the FDA to bring a drug to market is huge. It costs a ton of money. We pay that money. Other nations don't pay that money. So one of the ways to equalize this is to take some of that money that is spent on research and development and make the European and other nations pay for some of it. This would equalize, a word the president likes, the cost of drugs. Let's just take Ozempic, for example, a very popular drug that's used to has side effects for weight loss, but is used mostly for diabetes treatment. $936 it cost Americans, but in Japan it's $169. That's ridiculous. With 58 million Americans can't even afford prescription medications. So the president's on the right track on this. Getting the details on how to do it is the problem, and you can bet that Big Pharma is going to file lawsuits.
Cal, Kennedy Center has Porgy and Bess at the end of the month. A huge operatic production of the incredible Gershwin classic. You wanna come up here and hang out with me?
Well, you know, I did meet the original Porgy from, he used to teach voice in Washington to prospective singers.
Really?
This is one of the reasons I have such a great voice. You know, there's so many great songs in that. There really is.
Oh, and to hear the National Opera along with that incredible orchestra play that music, I can't wait for it.
Well, it's great stuff, and it shows you what happens now with the Trump administration taking over entertainment at the Kennedy Center. It's just going to get better and better.
I'll tell you, I went to see Mahler's Six this last weekend. I mean, it's sort of, honestly, it's pretty fantastic to see the incredible works of Western civilization presented on our national stage there at the Kennedy Center. It is an experience that can't be beat.
Yep, no prettier theater anywhere. Great place.
Thanks, Cal.